Is on the future of Jordan Henderson at Liverpool, and could it well be in jeopardy after talks over a new contract have hit the rocks? The Liverpool captain is hoping for a strong offer from the Reds, but he could end up leaving this summer if they choose to cash in. His contract at Liverpool is set to expire in June 2023, but there are a number of top European clubs that are interested in his signature, including PSG and Mauricio Pochettino, who is said to be a big fan of Henderson's style. PSG, is that a move, Jamie? You reckon Henderson could end up going to? And could he fit into their team easily?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, he could play for anyone, Jordan Henderson, in my opinion. I think he's been absolutely brilliant over the last few seasons, and obviously Adrian touched on it when he said about taking over from Gerrard, being the captain. Taking over is almost impossible. It's like Sir Alex Ferguson leaving Manchester United. The next manager is always going to be, it's almost impossible to live up to that expectation. And
as we've seen,
but Jordan Henderson has done that. He has done that. He took over from Gerrard as the captain, and he's been absolutely brilliant for them. And that was no easy feat to do that. So I'll be really surprised, Nat, if they don't get this sorted out. He's the captain. Players do look up to him. Everyone talks about how much they love him and how big he is for the team. When he doesn't play for Liverpool, you could argue that he's not their best player, which he isn't, but he's probably one of their most important players. When he plays, the team is better. So I can't see how Liverpool will just not get this sorted. I really don't. There might be some situation where they got to come to an agreement, whether it's on whether it's money based or whether it's length of contract time. I think they'll get it sorted out. I really do, because I can't see Liverpool without Jordan Henderson.
Well, look, according to reports, nothing has moved on since initial discussions that took place before the Euros. Now, admittedly, he's probably away and enjoying some time away before he has to link up with Liverpool. But you know what it's like to be in contract negotiations.
Yeah.
How we talk about, a lot of us listening and talking right now won't understand what it's like to be a part of these contract negotiations. How difficult can they be?
Well, I mean, for Jordan Henderson, not really difficult, but he will just say, look, this is what
it's proving to be, because they're stalling over.
Well, it's his agent's job, and it's the club's job. So it's stressful for the agent, but the player. I mean, I never got involved. I just said, look, this is what I want. This is the length I'd like. What do you think you can get? And then they just go to work, and then it's down to them to do the negotiations. As it grows on, as a player, as it rumbles on, like it is now. Now it's become public. Jordan Henderson will be asking the question to his agent, saying like, "What's happening? What's going on? Are they messing me about? Do they want me? Where does the future? Where are we looking?" And that's when it can become quite sort of frustrating for you. It's probably just getting to that point now with Jordan Henderson, where he's probably going to be coming back for the new season. He's going to want his contract sorted. He's going to know that he's settled. He's going to be at Liverpool for the next 2 or 3 seasons without having to think about elsewhere and his contract running out. So it is something that he will start asking questions to his agent, and I'm sure his agent will get it sorted. And look, at the end of the day, if they don't get it sorted, he's not going to be struggling for offers, is he?
No, as we were saying, PSG, one club already being linked with him, as are Atletico Madrid. Yeah. And if he goes to PSG, that means he's linking up with Wijnaldum again.
Yeah.
So in a way, at least he's got a friendly face there already if he was to move to Paris. It's an interesting situation, isn't it? Because, like you've just pointed out, the fact now it's in the press, in the papers, that makes it a lot more alarming, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden it becomes sort of, when it becomes public, that's when you start obviously having, because he'll have to answer questions about it now. People are going to be asking him, when things are getting, and that's why you always try and keep your contract negotiations quiet, in my opinion. Footballers, you want to keep it quiet until bang, it's done, it's signed, and then it becomes public and it's done, because then you don't have to ask questions. Now he's going to have to face questions about it. And he might not know the answers. As a player, you don't know the answers, because it's between the club and your agent to get things sorted. And he'll be frustrated. I remember when I look back at some of the contracts I've done over the years, and I remember sitting at the Belfry. I remember when I signed for Wolves. I remember sitting at the Belfry, and my agent company, it's actually the same agent with Jordan. They've got the same agent, and sat down and we're having a coffee, and obviously the deal got done. They'd obviously finalised the deal with Tottenham. Wolves had come to an agreement that I was going to sign. So obviously I said to him, like, just get me what you can get me. I just want to sign for Wolves. I want to make it happen. Just make the deal happen. I didn't know what it was. He wouldn't tell me. And he sat me down at the Belfry. We had a cup of coffee, had a game of golf. And he wrote it down on a napkin.
Okay.
And he just put
the figures.
5 years, 8.8 million. And I was like, what? I think I'll take that. Yeah. And it's funny because I spoke to him the other day and he said, I got none of that left. Got nothing to show for it.
What did you do with it, Jamie?
Oh,
that's what happens when you stay in Ibiza for 3 extra days, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. It was interesting because you mentioned, we were talking about the Steven Gerrard comparisons and where you would put, and Adrian Durham was pointing out that if Steven Gerrard wasn't Liverpool born, perhaps Henderson would be seen as even greater captain. Well, this was a question that Jason Cundy posed to Perry Groves on the Sports Bar last night.
Is he a bigger legend than Steven Gerrard?
I would say
it's not as ridiculous.
It's not as it's because of outrageous.
Yes, but if you look at
I'll just give you all his
he's
stats
done,
and what he's won Premier League, which Steven Gerrard didn't win. Obviously won Champions League. Although Steven Gerrard probably in the final won that one on his own with Liverpool, saying he dragged them by the scruff neck. But that's what Jordan Henderson could do for Liverpool as well. I think personally he's probably an all-time legend, but I think Steven Gerrard is up there with the Kenny Dalglish's. There's different brackets of legends. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's up there. Gerrard
Henderson is
just in the next one down, probably.
I mean, it's a fascinating question, really, because when you look at what Henderson has achieved at Liverpool, it's brilliant. It's unbelievable. You know, he delivered the Premier League, which unfortunately for Steven Gerrard, he was never able to do. At Liverpool. It'd be fascinating to hear Liverpool fans on what they make of it all. But where do you stand on it then?
No, Gerrard's the bigger legend, like hands down. Like Gerrard for me was one of my idols, and I'm lucky enough to play against him. He was unbelievable. And if Gerrard was in his prime now, playing in this team, he'd be the best player in Liverpool's side. The difference between the players is Jordan Henderson's a great leader. People look up to him. He's absolutely brilliant. Achieved loads with this side and achieved probably more than Gerrard. Yeah. But he's playing in a great Liverpool side with a great manager. Gerrard played in an average Liverpool side for quite a long time. I think he had one little period where they had, a real top team with where they had Torres and Mascherano and Alonso. That team, I played against that side. That was a brilliant side. But a lot of the time, Gerrard carried that team on his own and won things with that team when they were really average. Didn't have great manager, didn't have big financial backing. So for me, Gerrard is the legend of all legends at Liverpool because of what he'd done for that football club. Jordan Henderson's will go down as, but I think Perry's right. There's different levels of legend at a club, and Gerrard's on the top tier. I'd put Henderson maybe one below it.
Yeah, which in a way then makes it even more startling that we're in this situation talking about Jordan Henderson may well be leaving.
Yeah, he ain't leaving.
Because contract negotiations have stalled. And what impact would that have on Liverpool, do you think, going into next season, quickly, if he was to leave?
Yeah, massive. I think he's really important for the team. Watching him last season, when he got injured and he didn't play, they struggled. And people always raise this question, well, he's not the best player in the side, we can cope without him. They can't, because when he didn't play, they struggled. And when he did play, they were a lot better. So he's massively important for Liverpool.
The influence that he has, isn't
He has a big influence on the team. He's the driving force in midfield. The way Jurgen Klopp plays is about energy and being dynamic in midfield. And Jordan Henderson gives you all of that.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.